It's 4:30 on WKYT this morning. It was a Super Tuesday for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. More on their big victories just ahead.
Community members gathered to discuss concerns over radioactive waste found at an Estill County landfill.
And the Wildcats got a much-needed victory against Florida. More on last night's game coming up this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. Glad to have you along bright and early. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's get a look at what's happening with the weather right now with Micah Harris.
And we have actually a few flurries flying around early this morning, and none of this is going to cause any issues. But as you can see back toward the eastern zones, that's where you have a few snow showers. But like I was talking about, no accumulation is expected, still funneling in from the northwest. And that's going to give us some flakes throughout the morning hours. Should fade away here in the next few hours, but that's what we're dealing with early this morning. And there's your shot outside with those flakes flying around. It's not much, but it is there. 29 degrees here in Lexington, 28 in Richmond, and then we slide into your afternoon. Yeah, it's going to be right there in the 30s. It's back to winter for a few days, and I'll show you how long that lasts coming up.
All right, thank you.
Well, CBS News is projecting right now some of the winners in the 12 delegate-rich states participating in Super Tuesday.
Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are racking up a lot of victories. CBS's Craig Boswell has more.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump had a Super Tuesday, with CBS News projecting primary wins in 7 states.
I think, honestly, we've done something that almost nobody thought could be done.
Ted Cruz nabbed the biggest prize of the night, his home state of Texas, a crucial win for the conservative candidate. CBS News also projects he won Oklahoma.
Our campaign beats Donald Trump resoundingly.
Marco Rubio picked up the first win of his campaign, with CBS News calling Minnesota for the senator.
A third of Republican voters said the most important quality in their candidate is that he shares their values and can bring change. For Democrats, it's that they have the right experience.
CBS News projects Hillary Clinton won 7 states. She now has a third of the delegates needed to clinch the nomination.
This country belongs to all of us, not just those at the top.
Bernie Sanders is celebrating a victory in his home state of Vermont. CBS News also projects he picked up Colorado, Minnesota, and Oklahoma.
The people, when we stand together, will be victorious.
While nearly every candidate in the race picked up a win, the frontrunners are now so far ahead they're harder to catch. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Well, now that Super Tuesday's over, the candidates are turning their attention to Saturday's contest, which includes the Kentucky Republican caucus. Donald Trump wasted no time talking to Kentucky voters. Thousands of people attended his rally in Louisville yesterday afternoon. Trump's rally followed Ben Carson's town hall in Lexington on Monday. As WKYT's Garrett Weimer tells us, other Republican candidates are focusing on Kentucky, too.
Are you ready to make Kentucky Trump country on Saturday? Are you ready to get your neighbors and friends out to vote for Donald Trump on Saturday?
Trump's team certainly hopes so, trying to make sure the thousands who came to his rally also turn out to caucus for him this weekend.
So on Saturday, very important, because everything we do, it's all wonderful, but if we don't vote, that's not so good. So Saturday, you have to get out and vote, okay? The 5th, you have to get out and vote. We promise, everybody promise, right?
The executive director of the Republican Party of Kentucky tells me Saturday's caucus allows Kentucky to be a relevant player in the primary process. He says the Commonwealth's already shown that, with visits from Ben Carson and Donald Trump and an expected stop from Marco Rubio on Friday. Rubio's rally is scheduled for 10:15 Friday morning at the Bluegrass Ballroom at the Lexington Center. Meanwhile, Trump's supporters are confident he'll win Kentucky and the country.
I'm all about Trump. People think I'm crazy, but I think he's awesome. He shoots straight from the hip. He's exactly what we need, and I'm looking forward to him being the president.
In Louisville.
And Saturday, I'm going to be watching Kentucky. I'm going to be watching.
Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, Ted Cruz plans to send his father, Raphael, to Kentucky on Friday to campaign for him in Louisville and in Bowling Green, along with Kentucky, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, and Nebraska will hold either caucuses or primaries on Saturday. For Republicans, Kentucky and Louisiana have the most delegates at stake with 46 each. Kentucky's Republican delegates will be divided among the candidates who have at least 5% of the vote.
And WKYT will bring you special coverage of the caucus on Saturday as well. Well, the State House has passed a bill that would toughen sentences for people convicted of trying to kill a police officer or a firefighter. The bill is being sponsored by Representative Gerald Watkins. It passed. The bill, if it passes, the bill would require anyone convicted of that crime to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The House unanimously passed the bill yesterday, and it heads over to the state Senate. Well, people in Estill County say that they've had many questions since finding out that naturally occurring radioactive waste was illegally dumped in a landfill near Irvin.
Last night, county officials tried to answer them by holding a public forum. They say investigators report about 2,000 tons of waste dumped in the landfill. They are not sure exactly where all of it is in the landfill. WKYT's Monique Blair has more on the story.
Because Thursday afternoon, I really didn't want to start this. We just got through talking about salmonella. So here we go again.
Public officials explained to the crowd of nearly 600 people that they are currently trying to figure out exactly where the more than 2,000 tons of radioactive material was buried and how deep it was buried at the landfill.
There is not a present threat to public health, meaning that whatever material has been put into that landfill has been sufficiently buried.
Officials are now trying to figure out if there was a threat to the landfill employees back when the materials were brought to the landfill. Also, if there is potential for a public health threat in the future.
The more tests we can get and the more reassurance we can get, the safer you all will feel in our community.
Now, after the public officials spoke, many people from the crowd had several questions and concerns.
No, we're here tonight to discuss the landfill, why they do what they do. This load was allowed to come in just like any other load was allowed to come in.
Director of Landfill Operations in the East Region, Dave Rattel, says the Blue Ridge Landfill did not know they were accepting radioactive waste.
It was characterized as not ST-norm waste. It was characterized as regular drilling mud.
Several people said they were concerned about what else could be buried at the landfill. One person calling it a time bomb.
You find it and you remove it.
In Estill County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Well, state investigators say they'll continue to test the landfill and determine what needs to be done with the radioactive waste. They say the landfill is expected to receive a violation notice sometime this week. Well, severe weather caused quite a mess in Laurel County yesterday afternoon. A first responder had to be rushed to the hospital when strong winds blew off the roof of her home.
And that storm also damaged a few buildings. It brought down several trees as well. WKYT's Phil Pendleton spoke with people who saw it all happen.
And what happens?
James Sexton says his granddaughter just had severe weather drills at school when they looked out their window today to see their neighbor's roof take flight.
And we looked up and the top of the trailer come completely off. And as it moved up this way, then it took the piece of that barn roof off.
EMT Mary Messer and paramedic Danny Pratt lived in the home on Sasser School Road. Messer was rushed to the hospital for a leg injury.
My daughter-in-law was a nurse and she ran inside and helped the girl inside. She had a bruise on her bottom part of her leg. I thought she said it may be a small fracture.
Well, Messer was being treated. Other first responders worked in the pouring down rain to remove valuables and to put a temporary cover over the roofless home.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our job is 24/7, no matter what the weather conditions are, and as long as it's safe to keep our guys working, you know, we're going to work as hard as we can.
Messer was said to be pretty banged up by the storm, but was treated and released from the local hospital. Firefighters say they did what they could to save what they could.
Taking a lot of their personal belongings out, moved what else we could over to the only one section that has a little bit of a roof left.
Emergency officials say they believe the damage was caused by straight-line winds, but the National Weather Service is supposed to be out Wednesday to survey it further. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Phil, thank you. Laurel County first responders say some small buildings were also damaged, including a shed near Bush Elementary School. Storms also caused some damage in other parts of southern Kentucky. Lona shared this picture from Corbin. Shows a tree knocked over by strong winds. It fell into a shed there. You can track the storms and the latest traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Well, deputies arrested a man they say drove a car while high on drugs with his 1-year-old son inside. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office charged 36-year-old Wesley Wagers with DUI and wanton endangerment. After receiving a tip, deputies say they saw Wagers' car swerve on the road, so they pulled him over late last night. They say he admitted to using meth prior to his arrest. Deputies say the child was in the front seat in an unsecured car seat.
New this morning, state police have launched an animal cruelty investigation in Morgan County. They say they got a tip yesterday that 2 horses had been abandoned at a property along Highway 364. When police arrived, they say they found the horses in bad condition. Morgan County Animal Rescue is now caring for those horses, and police are trying to figure out who owns them.
We have an update regarding a recent cyberbullying episode that's happened at a Central Kentucky school. Some students at Elkhorn Middle School in Franklin County say someone has been posting vulgar things about them on Instagram. One parent called it social media bullying. The school hasn't been able to figure out exactly who's responsible, but the mother of one of the students says an 8th grader at the school has now started an Instagram account dedicated to posting positive messages and pictures about those who were bullied.
Well, after a tough loss over the weekend, the Wildcats bounced back against Florida last night. Coach John Calipari announced he was tweaking his team, and it appears to have worked. Terrific offense early on. It allowed the Cats to take a quick double-digit lead. The Gators would manage to fight back just before halftime. The Cats proved to be just too much in the second half. A final score of 88-79. UK handed Florida their 4th consecutive loss. All right, we have a traffic situation we need to let you know about. I-75 is shut down in both directions at exit 113 in Lexington. An overturned semi at that location. The driver lost control. It flipped, caught fire. So we'll keep everybody informed as we get additional details. But I-75 around 113 closed down. WKYT this morning is just getting started.
Is your closet filled with clothes you never wear? This could be a problem for you. Moms Every Day teaches us how to transition to a capsule wardrobe. What that is coming up.
We go from strong to severe storms yesterday to actually snow showers outside early this morning. Yeah, welcome to Kentucky, right? We're going to get into that forecast. I'm going to show you a winter forecast coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We actually have some flakes flying around early this morning, especially east of I-75. That is your best bet to actually see some snow showers as opposed to flurries. And the look out there, it's a winter look. And a lot of that's going to be funneling in from the northwest. So once we start getting that system on out of here, that's still a little bit close by. It's east of us, but it's still close by. That continues to funnel in at least a little bit of energy. And that's the look across the way. Let's start with the northeast. A few snow showers rolling through Rowan County and also Elliott County. All that is sliding southeast. Off into West Liberty, 460 there in Morgan County. And then you look southbound, still bits and pieces. This is spitting snow here and there. None of this is going to be accumulating snow as it travels southeast. So just keep in mind, you'll see the snow, but it's not going to cause any problems. There's the look outside coming in at a pretty decent clip. None of this is going to be heavy snow. So, yeah, just don't expect any snow there on the ground as you walk out the door early this morning. Temperatures are there in the 20s, but remember, ground temperatures are still in the 40s. So we have to really go through a few days to actually drop those ground temperatures. It takes a little bit of time. We're at 30 degrees now in Mount Sterling, 28 in Richmond. Danville coming in at 28 degrees, and southern zones sitting there around 30 degrees. By the afternoon, mid-30s. It's not going to rise that much, maybe 8 degrees or so. And we'll stay with mostly cloudy skies. I believe we get rid of those snowflakes, snow flurries for everybody before noontime. And around here in Lexington, it'll be here in the next few hours. So we'll try to get rid of that and also hold on to mostly cloudy skies. Just a chilly day in store and really a chilly next few days. What we're going to be looking at for kind of your headlines, your breakdown, flurries this morning, afternoon, just mostly cloudy. Then the next few days are just winter days. I mean, we're talking below average temperatures in the forecast, 40s going in toward tomorrow and off towards your Friday. But then we hit past your weekend. Your weekend's not all that bad. A couple of shots at some showers there on Saturday. But you get off toward next week, you're talking Monday and Tuesday of next week. Check that out. 70 degrees on Monday, 72 on Tuesday. I mean, there's a spring feel sliding in the forecast next week. And to be honest, looking at your 2-week forecast, just looking long range, you know that's hard to do, but just looking at the overall setup, it's pretty easy to tell that we're going to stay with that spring pattern. It'll go up and down, but for the most part, it's trying to transition off into spring, at least for the next couple of weeks. Now, after that, you never know, because we're still in March, so it's really something to watch out for in the next few weeks.
But the trend is there, huh?
Yeah,
it's absolutely
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Micah. It is 4:48 now, and a capsule wardrobe is one with seasonal clothes that fit, flatter, and go with everything.
Okay,
how about
sounds
that?
too good to be true, maybe. Here's how to make one in today's Mom's Everyday Minute.
Hi, today we're with Crystal Marks, a personal stylist, and we're talking about a capsule wardrobe. It's something that's really useful and beneficial to moms, but we need to know what it is. What is a capsule wardrobe?
A capsule wardrobe is staple items that are seasonal, and it's a condensed wardrobe that is interchangeable.
Okay.
So everything goes with everything.
How does it work?
There's a few different things you can do to make to have a capsule wardrobe work for you. You really want to make sure that all the pieces in your closet are good for your body.
Okay.
They make you feel good.
Okay, so you are going to have to purge.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure, because how many things do we not wear?
Right.
The statistics are we wear 20% of our closet 80% of the time as women.
So you have to be really honest about what you like and are going to wear.
Great word for it, absolutely. Super honest with yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, is this time in my life, do I need 12 cocktail dresses? I may not as a mom, you know?
Exactly.
What do I need?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For these tips and more, go to WKYT.com. Click on Moms Every Day.
It's good to have you along on WKYT this morning with a lot going on. A report coming up at the 5 o'clock hour about the closing of I-75 this morning at exit 113 due to a fiery crash. We'll have the latest in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and after spending a year orbiting Earth, astronaut Scott Kelly is back to Earth this morning. A look at his successful return when WKYT This Morning returns.
Welcome back into WKYT This Morning. It's 4:52. Astronaut Scott Kelly is finally back on Earth after nearly a year in space.
A Soyuz capsule carrying Kelly and a Russian cosmonaut touched down in Kazakhstan just before midnight. Both men spent the year serving as test subjects so scientists could study the effects of space travel on the human body. It's all part of NASA's goal to make sure astronauts can handle a trip to Mars. With this mission, Kelly has spent more time in space than any other American.
It'll be very interesting to see what we've learned as a result of that. Well, testimony continues in the civil lawsuit involving TV sportscaster Erin Andrews. Andrews took the stand yet again Tuesday, claiming her former employer, ESPN, made her give a national TV interview about her videotape scandal before she could return to work. The TV host is suing the National Marriott in Tennessee for $75 million for giving her room number to a stalker who secretly filmed her while she was naked. In a statement, ESPN maintains they have and continue to be supportive of Andrews. Well, coming up next, we'll have a look at some of the news stories we're working on for you this morning.
We'll also have another look at your morning forecast.
Good morning. Rolling toward 4:57 now on WKYT This Morning.
Let's take a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning. We'll have more on an ongoing traffic alert on I-75. It's currently shut down in both directions near the North Broadway exit after a tractor trailer flipped just after 2 o'clock this morning. You see that massive fire there. The truck caught fire, spilled debris out onto the road. Crews are on scene trying to clear that wreck, but you should expect some delays as you head into work.
Major situation. Again, we're on top of it with a live report from that location coming up very shortly here at the top of the hour. Let's check in with Micah. Things have certainly calmed down after we had some storms rolling through yesterday.
Yeah, and then 12 hours later, here we go with some snow showers, some flurries out and about. It's just the way these things go during this time of year. You get the storms roll through, then the wraparound moisture, and here we go with some spitting snow, spitting flurries. None of this is going to be a big deal. But that's out and about, and you can see that falling across the region. There's live sky camera. I'm going to talk about coming up in the next 2 hours of WKYT News. We're going to go over, do we expect more winter? Are we looking towards spring? Anything going on? I'll have that coming up in just a few minutes.